Welcome in here to WTOL 11 Plus. We do appreciate you tuning in. I'm Tim Miller. We're going to be talking about some winter weather we have coming up for this weekend. We know a lot of people have plans. Maybe your kid has a practice for soccer or basketball, or you want to do some traveling. You need to be in the know. Bringing in meteorologist Ryan Weekman, who is our expert on this. Ryan, it's important to do this because we know people are busy. You might not be thinking about the weather as you have plans, but something like this, when you're talking about potential ice forming, like we just dealt with earlier in the week, could be impactful.
And we saw exactly what impacts those had, right, Tim, with all the school delays and closings we had Thursday morning. That's quite a busy morning with all that information coming in. So, yeah, we wanted to give people a heads up and be in the know. That's a great way to put it. And you're going to see more programs like this on WTOL 11 Plus. It's the value of having our TV app, and make sure your family and friends have this downloaded on their television as well. Alert day out there for Saturday for some wintry weather, some snow, some sleet. Those are kind of like those ice pellets, and also some freezing rain going to be a pretty good likelihood as we go during the second half of the day on Saturday. But this is a system that needs to be watched closely because, as we found out Thursday morning, boy, just a little bit of ice can make a big difference, can't it? So Toledo's going to be right near that snow ice line. I do think we're going to creep in with a little bit more ice here up across Michigan. If you're heading north this weekend, you'll find more snow that direction, more ice as you head southward as well. In fact, you get down towards Columbus and Dayton, we're probably talking more in the way of some rainfall mixing in, as temperatures will make a big difference on exactly what we're expecting to see out of this one. It's not going to be a huge winter storm. This is not going to be a system where you better grab the bread, the milk. I would say buy the eggs, but we all know the prices of those right now. So just the bread and milk, a good idea to get for us here. But this is a sort of system that's just going to create an icy glaze potentially Saturday evening, and you'll still be able to get where you want to go. Just be smart about it. Let's kind of break down the weather impacts, and I want to broaden this out. Of course, we're focused on your weekend plans, but this February weather pattern is just starting to get cranked up. Look at today. We've got chilly, dry conditions. Saturdays where that wintry mix comes in. Of course, we're recording this on Friday right at noon. We expect that as we go forward in the forecast here, we're going to have updates, and we'll certainly have more videos for you as well. But as we look at Thursday, that's our next alert day with more snow potential starting to move on in. Let's look at this. This is after the weekend. This would be our Thursday system. Watch as it does develop and moves on in for us here. This is actually a better look at our weekend system, actually, and you can see a little bit of that wintry mix and then the rain off to the south. There's that snow I was talking about. If you're heading north in Michigan, where you'll run into a little bit more of that starting to move in as well. Might be asking yourself, okay, so it's another system with like a rain, snow, or like a snow ice kind of mix. Where is the snow, right? We've had about 6.5 inches of snow. That's it for the season so far. That puts us over 16 inches behind pace. We're quickly closing in on 1.5 feet behind normal. Compare that to last year, where we only had 9 inches of snow in the season, and then the year before at 8.8 inches of snow as well. These are paltry numbers, and both last year and the year before we're in our top 5 for least snowy winters on record. Now, we might be starting to change that as we look at our overall weather pattern for us here. As I bring you back to the WTOL 11 Weather Center, I kind of want to break down what I'm seeing when we look at the large scale weather pattern. Of course, this is how we get our first indications of what's going to be happening moving forward in the forecast. And as we get closer, you can refine the details. But first, you have to get the air masses in place. Where's the warm air? Where's the cold air? Sandwiched right in between those two, that's where our areas of low pressure are going to travel. And that's why we think with warm air through the middle of the month lodged to the south, cold air to the north, that puts us right on the train tracks for these areas of low pressure to come our direction. It's been one of my top questions that was asked when we had that extremely cold spell, remember, back in January, and people said, how come places like New Orleans and the Deep South, why did they get snow and we didn't? The answer goes back to your elementary weather education. Remember how when you were taught about tornadoes and they said warm and cold air collide, that's what makes the thunderstorms and tornadoes? Well, the same axiom is true when it comes to our forecast here when we're looking at where do storms track in the winter. And honestly, it was just too cold for us to get snow when we had that really big cold outbreak. So let's kind of break down this week's setup and why I'm kind of thinking, boy, our active weather pattern isn't going anywhere. The way that this setup is, an area of low pressure, the mid to late part of next week is going to come through. These are called panhandle hookers, okay? The reason they're called that, they come out of the panhandle region of Texas and Oklahoma, and then they hook up into the Midwest and New England. So that's how it gets its name. The reason they're so powerful, sometimes you get Gulf of Mexico moisture coming northward, and you also combine it with a cold air source to the north. So in this case, it's going to be an area of high pressure. So obviously you got the moisture, you got the cold air that's going to help create the snow for us here. But the track still matters, of course. Sometimes these systems, we call it ejecting because they're coming out of the Rockies flat through the southern U.S. That's a miss for us. Sometimes they go through the Tennessee River Valley. Fine, but doesn't give us big snow. We need the ones that really hook and go northward, and we do think that that's possible with this system. I'm going to bring up a graphic here so we can see this in a little bit of a better sense for you here, because I want to give you an idea of what we're looking at with this storm in particular and how I expect that it's going to travel, or at least our early indications of how it's going to move over the week and the next 7 days or so. So here's this area of low pressure with our hour by hour forecast. There's the moisture coming off the Gulf. Here's our cold air locked into place. Watch as this system tracks basically up the Ohio River. There's the cold air and the snow. This is called the deformation zone on the backside of it. And that's kind of the sweet spot. If you're a snow lover and you want snow, this is the type of system that you want. And it's why our 10-day forecast is kind of busy for us here. We've got Saturday afternoon and evening. Super Bowl Sunday looks pretty good for us. But then you look ahead towards next Thursday, and obviously that forecast there. Tim, we'll have to kind of watch this, of course. We're, a week out or just under a week out. Things obviously can change in that amount of time for us. Yeah. But we just want to give the first heads up. It's what we do with those alert days for you.
And like you said, Ryan, it has been a busy weather pattern. We're not just talking about Saturday where we could see that rain or ice, but Thursday, of course, the big day. We have a couple questions from folks on our Facebook page.
Let's do this.
And this first one I think could fit tomorrow, Saturday, or Thursday. Mike writes in, will we see enough snow for snowmobiles? We know people haven't really had a chance to get out and enjoy the snow the past couple of years. Maybe not on Saturday, but perhaps Thursday.
This would also fit a question by my 8-year-old saying, are we going to get enough snow to go sledding finally?
We've only had one day of that, I think, this winter.
And even that was kind of right? I mean, at least in the Toledo area. So the Saturday system for sure will not be snowmobile weather. I mean, even if we ended up with a little extra cold air on the cold side of that system, but it looks like I think ice is going to mix in, which will cut down our snow potential for us here. I really think we're talking about in most places probably less than an inch of snow. So again, mostly snow, basically the state line and northward. Anytime you get ice mixing into the snow, it cuts down on the totals for us here. So it's nice from a shoveling potential. And Tim, you've got a snow blower, right? Have you even put the gas in it?
I haven't. And you know, Ryan, that I have an electric mower now, so I don't really have those gas tanks full, the little jugs anymore. So I think I probably should go get some for Thursday.
You still got a few days. Let's wait on it here because obviously if you can get by, because you probably didn't even use it last year, did you?
I didn't. If it's just a couple inches of snow, even up to 3 inches, I'll just shovel it because it's kind of a pain to get the snowblower out.
Kind of a lot easier. And then we obviously get the natural question when we're dealing with ice and snow, Tim. A lot of times people want to know about the snow levels and that sort of thing.
Yeah, that question coming from Kelly, who told us she is new to the area. Will there be alert levels issued for roadways? We did see this on Thursday in a few counties. Level 1 being roadways are hazardous, and if it goes up to a 3, that means the sheriffs don't want you out at all. In fact, they have said before, you can't be out. We will not let you be out on those days. So do you anticipate those alert levels, those snow emergencies, as we like to call them, level 1, 2, or 3, maybe Saturday, maybe Thursday?
I call level 1s candy because the sheriffs just give them out like candy. I mean, let's face it, a level 1, right? You deal with this. A level 1 is there might be snow or ice on the roads.
Right, and it's just a reminder, I think, to be careful out there, and it gets your attention.
I've jokingly said the sheriffs, to save themselves time, just issue it on October 1st and have it run through April 30th. You know what I mean? Just yes,
Right.
it's winter. There might be stuff on the snow. You've talked to the sheriffs before. Obviously, people, when you get to a level 2, it gets more serious.
Right.
But people really want to know about level 3s. What's your experience, Tim, on doing that threshold from like a 2 to a 3?
Yeah, I moved here in 2007, and the snow emergencies were a little bit different. When I lived in Erie, Pennsylvania years ago, it just snowed every day in the winter because of the lake effect. So I don't think we had snow emergencies. Then I was in Tennessee for 4 years.
Yeah.
It didn't snow at all, really. But yeah, when I think the first 5 or 6 years, there were a lot of level 3s that I can remember because my wife Kelly and I had young kids, and we thought, is school going to be canceled? What about work and daycare and all that? When we got to a level 3, you didn't have to go to work.
You didn't have to like worry about it as much, right?
Right. News, of course, I was going to work, but my wife didn't have to go to work. But it seems like over recent years, we have not gone to level 3s much at all. So I guess that's a good thing because we don't want that much snow.
And obviously part of that is weather related for us as well. The big ones I can remember back in the winter 2014, the winters of 2015, when we had some really big winter wallopers. So I don't anticipate either of these systems are going to get up to like that level. I mean, a level 3 is a travel ban. You can actually be ticketed technically for being out on the road. That's a pretty extreme storm.
Yeah, they only allow non-emergency or emergency personnel. Non-emergency personnel cannot be there. You can't get in their way. Hey, I wanted to ask you though, as we look at those levels, and level 3 is really the one where it really kicks in. Roadways closed to non-emergency personnel, and nobody should drive unless absolutely necessary.
Can we go to a 2-tiered system, by the way? This is an opinion article on my part, but what's
you think maybe a 2 and a 3?
I mean, yes, 1 and 2 are the same thing. They're saying, yeah, the roads might be bad, right?
Right. I think it just allows them some space to maybe, okay, the snow's a little heavier or the ice.
Sure.
Let's kick it up to a 2. I can't remember the last time we've had a 3, though. It's been a number of years.
It's been quite a while. I think you'd have to go back. Probably we had that big snow where didn't we get overnight? I think it was
inches?
in 2019. Yeah, I got 15 or 20 inches, depending on where you were. It was a January snow, I believe, that we got. So
people were shoveling their backyards as we were to give
the
dog
dogs
a path. So that's one of those storms you remember. I wanted to ask you, of course, Super Bowl 59 is coming up Sunday night in New Orleans. What is the weather going to be like for anyone who might be traveling down there? It looked like
warmer than here.
Okay, earlier this week, yeah.
Okay, here's our Super Bowl forecast, all right? First of all, outside it's going to be in the 60s. In there, it's going to be in the 70s because they've got it climate controlled in there, right?
Yes.
So the game will be just fine. Anybody who's going down to New Orleans, they're going to come back and say, yeah, it felt really nice down there. The sunshine felt really good. How about this for us, Tim? I thought this was really interesting.
Ooh.
If we had gone into this winter season and I told you by Super Bowl Sunday, New Orleans was going to have more snow on the season than Toledo.
Never would believe you.
I don't think anybody would have. What are the chances of this being the situation? It was wild. Obviously, this fell on one night in
one
New
storm,
Orleans.
right.
But 6.4 inches, that's all we have for this year. New Orleans had more.
How much do you think the NFL and the leaders down in New Orleans are so thankful this snow didn't happen this week?
Can you imagine? We did go back and look. It had our brains kind of working, and we said, what was the coldest Super Bowl ever in Toledo, or not Toledo, in just history? It was in New Orleans.
It was when they had those games outdoors.
Yeah, they had the outdoors.
Tulane
It was Super
Stadium.
Bowl VI when it was at Tulane University outdoors. The high temperature that day was 39 degrees.
Ooh.
A little chilly.
And my Steelers played Super Bowl IX outside, too. It was rainy and cold that day.
Did they win that one?
They did.
Oh, that's why you brought it up.
It was their first one. But what about for folks around here? You know,
Yeah.
we'll be going to Super Bowl parties, maybe going to a friend's house. Maybe a lot of that is super local traveling.
Sure.
But how are we looking for Sunday night tea?
I think we're totally fine. You know, we got that system Saturday. If that system was maybe 24 hours later and we were looking at it Sunday, that wouldn't be so convenient. But anything that falls Saturday night is going to be cleared up. Even by the time you're going to church or brunch or something Sunday morning, by the time the game's happening, it'll be a long since memory. So I think we're looking in pretty good shape. And I'll tell you what, Tim, this has been fun, right?
It is.
Yeah, this
a
is
little
great.
extra in depth, not a whole lot of time constraints, which is kind of nice. But also, let's think about folks need to get out and get their food for those Super Bowl feasts.
Sure.
Saturday could be a little tricky. Maybe get it done in the morning, do you think?
Saturday's already the crazy grocery day in the morning, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, it's going to be, I think this week is going to be amplified anyway because people are thinking, don't do it. And I want to tell people, because I'll bring up the graphic again just so you can see what we're looking at for Saturday evening. I don't want people to look at this and think, I'm going to be trapped in my house.
Right.
You are absolutely not going to be. The main thoroughfares will be probably wet, honestly. But if you got family or friends coming over Saturday night just to hang out, throw some salt on the sidewalk. You know, be a little nice, do something like that. Because you don't want somebody slipping and falling, something silly like that.
Leave the tackling and the falling for the football field, right?
Perfect. There you go. Otherwise, that's a personal foul if you didn't put the salt down first.
Exactly.
So, yeah, there's going to probably be a little glaze of an ice that happens. Probably not as thick as we had Thursday, but with everybody paying attention and being out and around and it being a weekend, we just wanted to give that extra heads up. I really am turning that attention towards next week and that weather pattern for us here. We'll see how it all shakes out. The storm system here. In fact, you know what? Let's do this. I love this because we can do whatever we want here. It's WTOL 11 plus. Let's go back to my other map and graphic. Let's try to find. I'm gonna pull the view way out for us here. In fact, my satellites probably aren't even going to go far enough. Here's that system. If we were to get a storm next Thursday, this is the piece of energy out here towards the Aleutian Islands that's going to make it happen. It's going to take a giant C-shaped curve. It's essentially going to come up over Alaska over a ridge. It's going to dive down through California. This is roughly the track that it's going to take. Then it's going to have to curve back into California, be met by the panhandle region of Texas and Oklahoma, and then come all the way up here. So obviously, there's a lot of variables at work. That's got a long way to go. That's my fancy doodle work that you can see right there.
I like it, yeah. but you're also thinking about some people love the snow and others would prefer that it stays away. So that's an interesting dynamic.
Well, the people who love for it to stay away have had a couple of winters of some pretty good time. I'm a snow lover. Come on, I just want at least one winter storm, right? Give me one winter storm every single year.
There's something about driving by, and I know some communities in our area do have sledding hills, whether it be the Metro Parks or Rivercrest Park in Perrysburg. Yeah. There's something about driving past one of those and just hearing the kids, seeing them having a great time.
It's true, and there's something about covering up the brown grass and everything too with like a nice coating of white. There's nothing quite as nice as a fresh fallen snow. So one winter storm isn't asking for much, is it?
Yeah, as you know, Ryan, we've been raising a puppy at home. She's 13 weeks old. It's been a little challenging with the weather we've had. I would prefer just grass, but she does love the snow. So I could see some advantages.
She hasn't really gotten to play in snow. Maybe she loves the snow. Maybe this will be her favorite thing since sliced bread.
Diving her nose into the snow all the time. So.
Oh, this has been a blast, and you can catch so much more of our weather content here on WTOL 11 Plus as well. We've got our weekly Off the Radar show. We recently did a Groundhog Day edition, which Tim, I know is in your heart with Punxsutawney.
Right. Yeah, my dad was from Punxsutawney, so it's always a fun time of year. Hey, I think Punxsutawney Phil was right. 6 more weeks of winter. Look what we have coming up.
Seems like maybe on the right track for us. At least one more week. We'll see how the next 5 work out for us. We've got a Super Bowl edition show on there as well. And of course, we're going to be updating content with our entire WTOL 11 team of meteorologists. So Tim, thank you so much for joining me today. I said I wanted you to come hang out. Let's chat about what we're looking at over the next week, because I'm looking at this weather pattern for the rest of February, and I'm thinking we're going to have more storms to talk about. Obviously, not every single one's going to be a blockbuster, but we, of course, want to keep you updated. So you can have that WTOL 11 weather app. You can see us here on this WTOL 11 Plus, and we're going to be adding more content so you can check it out right here. So
I was going to bring that up, Ryan. I'm using the app all the time, especially when we have snow like this, for traveling or just checking the radar. So take a little deeper dive in it. You can learn.
And it's the first thing I go to. So this morning, for example, we just issued the alert day for Thursday. First place I sent that information to was on that WTOL 11 weather app and a push notification. So when I say, if you want to be the first to know, it doesn't have to be severe weather, but here in the winter season as well, having that app is definitely the way to go. So Tim, thank you so much for joining us here.
Thank you, Ryan. Great.
Absolutely, having a blast, and we'll keep you updated here. Have a great rest of your weekend, Super Bowl Sunday and beyond. Bye-bye.
Bye.